Morning, everyone. I made you a short video about time management and how you can start to take control over your lives in lockdown. And just my lockdown hair. One of my favourite things about lockdown is that no one really cares what anyone looks like anymore, which is great. Okay, now I know that some of you are struggling with time management and motivating yourself, and it's really difficult, and thank you for asking for help. It's one of the most difficult things is asking for help, but hopefully you saw that when you do ask for help, actually it feels quite good. So a good tactic in life is always ask for help, because you'll always get more than you realise, or more than you thought you would. So thank you for asking for help. And you're at a really difficult point in your life because you're young adults and you want to do things for yourself, but you don't always know how to do it. So it's normal to struggle. It's very, very normal to struggle. In fact, I think in terms of getting stuff done, I really struggled throughout all of my early 20s into my late 20s, actually. It's only really in my 30s that I've managed to get myself together in terms of like managing my time and organising myself. So it is normal, and I wish someone had told me some of these things that I'm going to share with you a bit earlier. I'm going to share with you some of the strategies which are used by successful people around the world. They're not ones that I've made up. They're ones that I've magpied from different places. The ones that I know work for me. They won't necessarily work for you, but it's about trying and finding out your way, not looking for the way. When I was younger, I think I always wanted to try and find out the best way of doing something, and I realised with time that there is no such thing. So you just need to experiment and work out what works for you. This is a good quote here. This is from Aristotle, who was found in ancient Greece. He's got lockdown hair as well, look. We're the sum of our actions, and therefore our habits make all the difference. So you need to be proactive, and you basically, in lockdown and in life, in fact, you can't really control what's going on around you. You have no control over other people, really. You can't control action. You can't control what other people do or say, or you can't control world events, or you can't control your boss. You can't, sometimes bad things will happen, sometimes good things will happen, sometimes you can be bothered, sometimes you can't. But there are some things that you can take control of, and you need to work out what they are and how you're going to control them. And that really starts with getting your routines right, and working out what your morning routine is. And this can be just as simple as actually writing it down, what you're going to do in the morning, in what order are you going to do it. Get up, have a drink of water, do some yoga or some stretches, meditate, go for a run, play some basketball, have breakfast, whatever it is. These are all things that you need, that you can plan, and you can make your bed, whatever. You can brush your teeth, hopefully. You can put these into a routine, and believe it or not, like I'm always working on like a morning routine to try and become more effective, and that's really, really helped me, because if you get your morning sorted, then it means that you set yourself up for a positive day. Now, I know that you guys will be having different sleeping patterns to me, because I'm older and I get up early and I'm quite weird. But even still, taking control of what you can actually what you can control will mean that you set yourself up for the day. So even if it was, for example, I really struggled to get into positive exercise routines when I was younger. I was fat, basically, and one of the things that really helped me was, for example, when I got out of bed, was to put my running kit on, and that became part of my habit, and that would mean that I was more likely to actually to get up and do stuff. So even if it's just a simple a case of, and believe me, this will genuinely work, is putting on some like professional clothes to do work will mean that you're more likely to actually do the work So think about what habits you can build and be proactive and actually just take control of the things that you can control. Now, it's also really important to work out what habits you actually want and what habits you don't want. And this is a really important. It's working out what's important and what's urgent. And it's about you put first things first is the expression. So working out what's important and what's urgent, and trying to do less of the things which are not important and more of the things which are important. So I've put on some things here for you so you can see what your what kind of some examples. At the top is important, down at the bottom is not important. Now, when I say not important, and I put things like social media and Netflix, things like social media and Netflix are important because they are that it's about social interactions, and so I know that social media is very important to people, but it's also it's not the social media itself. It's not the mindlessly scrolling. That's what's not important. It's just scrolling. Social interactions are incredibly important, and I've never seen that you shouldn't do that. And so always prioritize making connections with people, but it's just the mindlessly scrolling. I'll come back to that one because there are some times when that can be healthy. So have a look at this list and make your own list. What are the important things that you do? What are the not important things you do? And this thing about urgent. So an urgent thing is something that needs to be done straight away. So if you look at the right-hand box, last minute revision is important, obviously, and it's urgent, needs to be done. Most homework is fairly urgent because we usually do it at the last minute or the day before. A lot of people, that's fine, by the way. A lot of people do their best work that way. I'm a last minute person. I'll never do work in advance if I've got a deadline. I have deadlines all the time, whether it's writing reports at school or a piece of work for my manager, doesn't matter. I will hold on. I'll always do it last minute, always. So there's nothing wrong with last minute work. Often means that I actually do better work when I do it last minute. And things like applications, your UCAS, emergencies, upset friends. These are all things which are urgent and important. But if you're always doing things which are urgent and important, then it can be really stressful, and you can find yourself getting exhausted and burned out. A lot of people spend their whole lives, maybe not in lockdown, but their whole lives working in this top right-hand box of just always. And often people can get bored and anxious and stressed from that. So we really don't want to do that. And these are some of the things down at the bottom here. These are the ones that if you do too much of them, then you can become really, really unmotivated. You've really got to find your energy and work out what do you enjoy doing, and you've got to try and do more of it. That's basically the secret. Things like intellectual, what gives you energy, intellectually what gives you energy, what you're interested in, and physically what gives you energy, like making sure you're getting some exercise, doing some sport. Emotionally, what gives you energy, and I mean by that is like your relationships, making sure that you're speaking to people, socialising. That's a key ingredient to energy. And also, like, what is your intuitive energy? You know, are you doing the things which make you happy? And basically, the rule for life is that if you're not doing things which make you happy, then it won't give you energy. Which is why often people don't do homework, because it doesn't give them energy, because they're not motivated or they don't enjoy it. And you need to know that, and you need to appreciate that, and you need to try and be proactive in doing the things which give you energy. We'll come back to that as well. Now, this top box here, the important but not urgent, this is the most important one. This is the one where you need to sit down and you need to plan these. These are the things which often people don't do because they're not urgent. Things like sleeping well, exercise for some people, prioritising relationships. For example, you live at home. Obviously, you live at home, but when you live at home, because you see them every day, you don't prioritize the relationships, and that can often lead to breakdowns in where we get angry or frustrated, or we say things that we regret. And finding meaning in life, like what is your buzz, like we said before, what gives you energy, what can you do more of? Things like long-term revision, which is kind of like lockdown work, and what hobbies are you doing? Are you being creative? These are the things which are important and not urgent, and these are the things which in lockdown and in life in general, because people think that they're too busy, they don't prioritize them. So it's really important that you actually plan these. Now, and again, it's pretty geeky, but it's what you need to do is to actually, and I've done this, and I continue to do it, is to actually make a list of these things, like that, and actually prioritize these things. This is what I mean. Put first things first is to do these things up in the top left hand box up here, and that's really, really important. If you don't do that, you won't have energy, and you won't feel motivated. And if you're going to do some things which are important but not urgent, like which are boring, like geography work perhaps, if you're going to have energy to do the things which are boring to you, you're going to need to make sure that you've got some energy from somewhere else. That's the thing. Otherwise you'll end up doing things like this, like scrolling, watching Netflix, sleeping, lazing around, doing nothing. And then what happens is you start to feel guilty, and you think, oh, I'm so lazy, etc., etc. I really struggle with that a lot, is just being totally lazy. So by making your list and by doing more of these things up in the top left, you will get energy to do the things which are boring. Now, finally, a quick word about these things. These things are fine, bottom left, not urgent, not important. And these things are fine as a reward. And so, for example, if you're going to do some work and then give yourself a reward of social media, gaming, Netflix, whatever, and actually that becomes a really powerful motivation tool. So it's about finding your energy. If you're using these things as a reward, it will then give you the energy to go on and do something else. Right, now moving on, how best to use this. So, and I promise you I do this all the time. I often have to do things which are important but are boring. So moving forward, what you need to do is you need to plan and prioritize these important but not urgent things, and this will help you to find a purpose and passion in your life, which will have loads of really positive impacts. And obviously we want to avoid being trapped, stressed and burned out, which is what a lot of sixth formers are in non-lockdown times. Is they get really stressed because they want to be perfect, they're doing everything last minute, they're doing everything at full pace. And then these are some of the things which a lot of people are doing here. They're procrastinating, they depend on other people to do the work for them, they're wasting their time, or they can feel out of control. And that's what this is about. Some people get unmotivated when they feel they don't have any control over their life, and that makes them just do nothing. That's a totally normal reaction, by the way. You're not the only ones. So many people, because they can't motivate themselves, they don't do anything, and because they don't do anything, they can't motivate themselves. It's a negative spiral, and the way to get out of that is to plan and prioritize doing important but not urgent things. I promise you it will work. So, when I say plan and prioritize, that doesn't necessarily mean all work, by the way. You can plan and prioritize socializing, whatever you enjoy, cooking, eating, whatever. You can plan and prioritize that, but it's those important things, okay? Right. Now, also, one more thing is that when you're using them as a reward, then the things like watching Netflix or gaming or YouTube goes from being not important to important, because everyone has a fundamental need for a reward. It's what motivates us. So make sure you do plan in those rewards. They're really important. But if you're just watching Netflix all the time, it's not a reward. It's just we start to feel guilty. We start to think I'm so lazy, and then you think, well, I'm lazy, so I might as well not do anything at all. and you have days where you can just waste the whole day. Right. No, this is something that I actually do. I do it all the time. And when I'm having to do a task which is boring, but I need to do it, which happens all the time at work, things like marking, for example, I set a 25-minute timer and I turn my phone off or put on airplane mode. I've got no emails open, I've got no WhatsApp, I've got no social media. And I set a timer. It's called the Pomodoro technique, which might help you to remember it. It was invented by a guy that was trying to get the maximum efficiency, and he worked out 25 minutes was the ideal time. And it just so happened in his kitchen when he was inventing this idea or writing his book that he had a 25-minute market timer. So that's why it's called the Pomodoro technique. But so what I've got Alexa in the background. I've got 25-minute timer on. I usually put some lo-fi music on, which helps me to concentrate. I've got no distractions. All my screens are off apart from the one that I'm using, and I work for 25 minutes. And then I'll give myself a reward at the end of it. And by working as hard as I possibly can for 25 minutes, I get more things done. And I'm usually doing the things which I'm making sure that I'm using the 25 minutes as well to free up time to do the things which are important but maybe not urgent. So I have, for example, I've been playing more guitar and I've been doing some artwork. Look, there you go. And so that is definitely not urgent, but it is important because it's made me happy. So you can put questions or comments in the comment box and I will answer them all. I hope that's been helpful. And some key takeaways is you need to be proactive, which means take control, make lists, plan your routine, and prioritize doing the things which are important but not urgent, and give yourself rewards. Okay, love you, bye.